Allen Creek first graders, here we go. Here's our lessons from 9 to 12. I'll start with lesson 9 first. So last week, we learned about fractions a little bit. We learned that fractions have two parts. The top part, or the north part, if that helps you, is called the numerator. Can you say that word? Numerator. The bottom part, or down, is called the denominator. Can you say denominator? Denominator. The denominator tells you how many fair share pieces there are. Each piece has to be the same size. And the numerator tells you how many you've picked or you've shaded or how many you want and you want to have. So last week, one of the common mistakes I saw that I want to kind of look at again is this one right here. There are two parts here, but are they fair? No. So if I shaded this in, it is not a half. So that one should have been a no last week. If you accidentally said yes for that one, I just want you to have a growth mindset and say, oh, okay, I get it now. That's what it should have been. Okay? Now let's look at this first one right here. How many fair share parts are there? Say it out loud or write it on a piece of paper. Good. I should have heard 2. How many parts are shaded? Say it out loud. Good. 1. This fraction is called 1/2. Here's how it's written as a word, 1/2. Here's how it's written as a fraction with numbers, 1/2. Now let's look at this one down here. How many fair share pieces are there? Were they all the same size? Good, there are 4. So down here in the denominator, we're going to write the number 4. It's hard to see that part of the 4. It's not thick enough. Now, the numerator tells us how many are shaded, the top number. How many out of 4 are shaded? Good, 1. 1 out of 4 are shaded. Another name for this number is 1/4. Can you say 1/4? You might hear it called 1/4 also, because we just like to give lots of names to things. So 1/4 or 1/4, the word form, the number form. I want you to look at this one right here. Shout out or write on a piece of paper the answers of these 3 problems while I quickly pause you and you do it. All right, good job. You should have just done that part and paused yourself. Now, I want you to look at this first one. How many fair share parts are there? You all should have had a 4 here. How many are shaded in? 1. So this is 1/4 written this way or this way. Look at that second one. How many parts are there? 2 fair share parts. How many are shaded in? 1. So this would be called 1/2 or 1 out of 2 fair share parts. This last one, how many fair share parts are there? Now, this one's tricky because if I turn this around, it would go right on top of that. So they are fair share parts, but it is an out-of-the-box way of thinking of it. There are 2 fair share parts. How many are shaded? 1. So here we have a 1/4 or a 1/4. Here we have a 1/2. And here we have a 1/2. Nice job. So you're going to go ahead and pause this and work on lesson 9 today, Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you will work on 10 through 12 with the rest of the video. Bye. Okay, welcome back. This is now lessons 10 through 12. And all of them kind of mix together, so I'm putting them together to help you. And on these lessons, we're learning about time. And the reason we did fractions before is because fractions, understanding half past, quarter past, will help us with time. So here we go. Right here, I want you to know that clocks, analog clocks, these kind like this, have 2 hands. They have a really short hand, and that's called the hour hand. It's short. And then they have another hand. They call them hands. Don't know why. And the minute hand is the very long one. So I want you to look at Miss Nelson's analog clock. And if you see right here, the part that's moving, So this is a little confusing. That's a second hand. We're not going to be looking at that in first grade. So look at these two normal hands. This one that's pointing at the 3, it's long. So right now I want you to think, long hand. Is that the hour hand or is that the minute hand? Think for yourself for just a second. Okay, good job. I should have heard you say the pointing to the 3 is long, so it's the minute hand. It tells the minutes. And now I want you to look at what's just slightly past the 12 here. What is that, the hour hand or the minute hand? The hour hand. Today we're focusing on 2 times. We are focusing on what happens when this minute hand goes straight up and down. We call the straight up and down o'clock. So when this minute hand is pointing at the 12, it's o'clock. Okay? And then we have the other hand when it is pointing down at the 6. Whew, it's a little more sensitive than my school clock. It's called half past or 30. So I have the hour hand pointing straight up, and it's the short hand. It can be pointing lots of different places. We have the minute hand. It's the long hand. So half past, when we're talking about the minute hand, is 30, and it's pointing down at the 6. And then when we're talking about o'clock, it's the long hand again. It's pointing up at the 12. So we're going to try one together now. Okay? Miss Nelson is going to put a time on her clock, my home clock. It's not as good as a school clock, but it's pretty close. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to give you this time right here. So my hour hand is pointing at the 3. My minute hand is up at that o'clock we talked about. So first we write the hour, 3. Then we put what's called a colon to separate the minutes. It's pointing straight up at o'clock or 00. This time on an analog clock would be called 3 o'clock. Do you see how the minute hand is pointing straight up? This minute hand, the long hand, is pointing straight up at the o'clock. So we would say 3 o'clock. Okay, now I'm going to try something else. I'm going to move this hand way down here. And because it's half the way past, do you see how this clock can be put in a little bit of a fraction? This is why we learned fractions. I hope you can see that line. It's not easy to write on my clock at home and show this. But when this goes down to that 6, it's halfway on my clock. That is why it's called half past. That is also why the hour hand is halfway between 3 and 4 right now. It is half past 3. So my minute hand is half past 3. So I'm going to keep 3. Oh, excuse me. My hour hand, is half past 3. And my minute hand down here is on 30. 3:30. Later on, when we get further on in schooling, you and your parents could talk about this if you want. When you do minutes, you count by 5s for every one like this. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So the reason the minute hand is 30 is because each one of those is a 5-minute jump. Okay? 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 o'clock. So here you go. That one was 3:30. Now you're going to try one on your own. Are you ready? This next one is going to be just like this. Straight up. This one's tricky. So look at the time on my clock. Say out loud, write on a piece of paper, tell an adult, what time is it? Okay. Now let's look at the hour hand first, the short hand. It's on 6. So we're going to write 6 here, and a colon separates the hours from the minutes. The minute hand is on the 12. And we said the minute hand, when it's up on that 12, it's called o'clock, and we write it like this. 6 o'clock. Ready to try another one? Okay. What time is it? So, the minute hand and the hour hand we're looking at. Hour hand first is 7:30. It's not to 8 yet. It's half the way past. Remember, that's like a fraction. So it's 7 o'clock. What is the minute hand? The minute hand that's on the 6. It's on the 30 part. Because remember, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You can also just memorize it. That's the 30 part. So right now, it is 7:30 on Miss Nelson's analog clock. 7:30. Okay? Ready for your next one? So let's do another one. What time is it? Say it out loud to somebody. The shorthand, the hour hand, is what? It's halfway past the 10. So 10. Now look at the minute hand, the long hand. It's on the 6. And if I count by 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So it's 10:30. Remember, we're trying to just memorize. Half past is when the minute hand's here. O'clock is when the minute hand's straight up. So it is 10:30. Again, if you're getting it now, go and work on this, and that's it for the lesson. If you're still stuck, stay a little longer. All right, let's do another time. Are you ready? I'm moving it around. Ooh, and let's see if I can stump some of you. What time is it? Think for a second. What time does it say? What time is it? Okay, the shorthand, the hour hand, is on the 2. The colon separates the hour from the minute. The minute hand is straight up. Remember, straight up, what does that mean? O'clock, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, or o'clock. So we would call it 2 o'clock. Again, if you feel like you're getting it, stop and start the worksheets for 10, 11, and 12. If not, stay with me. All right, next time. Look at the clock. What time is it? The minute hand, the short hand, is on half past the 3. So the hour is 3. The long hand, the minute hand, is on 6, which is 30. Because 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Nice job. Okay, again, you know when you need to stop, when you feel like you've got it. If you don't got it, you don't have it, excuse me, you're going to stay on here a little longer. Ready for your next one? Okay, what time is it? The minute hand, the hour hand, the short hand, is on the 5. Put a colon to separate the hour from minutes. The minute hand is straight up and down, which we know is o'clock. So it is 5 o'clock. If you got that, good job. Hey, last one, and I think that we should hopefully have it by now. You can practice more at home if you need to. Okay, what time is it? Tell somebody by you. The hour hand, the short hand, is halfway past 8. And the minute hand is right on the 6, which means 30. It is 8:30. Good job. See you next week. Bye-bye.